positioning the piston on a 80cc / 49cc two-stroke motorized bike engine. Okay, what you're going to want to do is, when you put the piston in there, is to position the piston to where this arrow right here is pointing towards the exhaust side. The reason why you want it to point towards the exhaust side and not the other way around is because under the firing stroke, when the crank gets past top dead center under the firing stroke, is because the side of the cylinder, the side of the piston, is actually the thrust side. And under the firing stroke, all the thrust is on that side of the piston, because when it's firing, you can see what the crank is doing when it's firing. It pushes the crank down like that, and you can see how all the thrust is on the one side of the piston. And that's another reason why you want to do it that way as well, is because so that you don't get these rings caught up on any of the ports in a cylinder. The ports in the cylinder are these ports right here. You don't want to get them caught up on any part of the cylinder. And also, when you put the piston back in the cylinder, never ever put a dry piston back in a dry cylinder. Always lube it up with two-stroke, lube up the piston, lube up the cylinder. Never ever put them in there dry. And when you're putting the piston in the cylinder, you also want to make sure that these little rings line up. There's a space on those rings that lines up with the little pin on each side. You want to make sure that those are sandwiched in between that pin. And then when you do put it in there, there's a little tapered that's on the bottom of the cylinder that makes it a lot easier to get it in there. So yeah,